Welcome back everyone to more iRacing content here at Nipit Gaming. In today's video we'll be running the AI at USA International. So since the Cup cars are taking a break this weekend after the intense racing on the dirt at Bristol, we are going to be headed to USA International because anytime you get an opportunity to run a short track, it's a good day. So we'll be running USA International using the generate weather option so that it will be more tailored to the track. And we'll be running 100 laps. Still not quite a full fuel run, but very close. And it will definitely give us the information we need about the AI, how they behave on new tires, how they behave as the tires start to wear, their general behavior around other cars, as well as their behavior around us, which is a bit sketchy at times, as we've seen. As always, we have disabled the car damage because we want the AI cars to stay at full strength for the course of the run instead of having a bunch of AI wounded cars on the track. Of course, we'll be using the Cup cars and we'll be using the BR 2021 Cup collection that you can find available on the Trading Paints should you so desire. Of course, I will be in the Chevy Camaro since I do not own actually the other two Cup chassis. Now we'll be using 34 cars in this particular AI collection, and the skill spread for this race will be 65 to 100%. So again, another very high AI overall percentage and speed rating, as I have found that that's what it needed to be. These guys will, as usual, be faster than me on new tires, or at least the fastest cars will be faster than me on new tires. And then we'll see how they do as the tires wear and they start to lose grip. Of course, we will be starting from the rear, so we'll be starting dead last in 35th position as we work our way through the remainder of the race settings. Most of these will be at default. No fast repairs will be necessary because we're not looking for wrecks in these races. We're looking for some nice green flag racing. That's why we disabled the damage overall. Okay, track condition. I generally like to run a brief practice session before the race starts, just simply so I can give time for Trading Paints to get all of the paint schemes loaded in and to lay down a little bit of rubber on the track. So this fact that we're carrying over the practice state into the race start is a bit of a good thing. I always like it when the tracks darken up over the course of the race, and with us running 35 cars and 100 laps, we're definitely going to see the track rubber up in today's race. Now, one slight change for today's race is we're going to be using an afternoon start time as opposed to the traditional noon start time that I have been using. That takes care of the pre-race festivities. Let's get to the racing. All right, we've just been given word, green flag, next time by, 100 laps here at USA Speedway. Those of you in iRacing who have spent a lot of time in late models have run a lot of laps around this place. This is an awesome track. Love this track. Wish it was still in existence today, but my understanding is it's actually not. As far as AI, in my time so far testing, they do have the same traits as we've seen in every other track, but they don't seem to be quite as bad. Now we're going to get started here right in the middle of the corner, so that's going to change things up a little bit, but they're definitely going to be faster than me here at the beginning. You can see some of the stuttering as these guys try to figure out where they fit in line up ahead of us here at the back of the field, but
got one outside. 3 wide, you're on the bottom, outside, still there.
All right, 3 wide, they don't do well with 3 wide, especially if I'm one of the 3. They're not sure how to react to that.
Got one outside. Clear to the top.
So we're going to try to carefully work our way through here, at least as far as we can.
Outside.
With this particular AI
stay low.
Spread, I'm not sure how far up through the field we're going to be able to get.
Clear outside. Got one outside.
But you can see these guys on entry, they leave the bottom open. They really want to arc it in.
Outside.
All right, also you may remember I've been using the CrewChief add-on for iRacing.
Still there.
And I still am, but I have turned off the spotter in that. I am back to the iRacing spotter for now.
Stay low.
So you're going to hear a few different voices
Clear to the top.
And you may hear them on top of one another from time to time as the spotter and the crew chief try to communicate at the same time.
Okay, Brian, the next car
Got
is
one outside. Clear outside. Got one outside. Keep low.
But essentially, I'm trying to decide, do
Clear
I want
outside.
to use the spotter in the crew chief add-on, because I've had some issues with it. Nothing that it's messing up really, but it's just a few things just seem a little bit odd. So I'm going back to the iRacing spotter to see if those same things happen there as well.
Got one outside. Stay on the bottom.
So with this being 100 laps, that's not a full fuel run here at this place, but it's fairly close
The
anyway.
lap time was 21.8.
All right, so we passed a few cars. We're now inside the top 30.
Outside.
And again, the more the times fall off,
Stay low.
the more I expect that we're going to be able to move up through, for the same reasons we've seen at the other tracks. These guys are fast on new
28.
tires,
You've just done a
Clear to
22.
stop.
but they also seem to fall off more than us in general. As long as the car's not too tight or too loose over a long run for us, in which case they'll actually start to come back on us. I forget which track that was, but that actually happened to us
Water temperature's
at one of the
great
tracks where I didn't have an opportunity to spend a lot of time on the setup. Here, I think we're going to be okay, but we'll see. I haven't run anywhere near 100 laps in a race, so we'll find
Got
out
one
how that
outside.
works out over that length of a run.
Stay on the bottom. Stay low. Clear outside.
B27. That lap was at 22.2.
All right, these guys are really mixing it up here ahead of us, so hopefully they get that all worked out before I get there.
Stay on the bottom.
You can see the 10
Clear
car.
outside.
Oh yeah, we're in 3 wide there. I was going to say, he's not giving me a whole lot of
You've just
room
done
here.
a 22.2.
Outside. Outside. Still there. Still there.
All right, so they got it sorted out.
Still
Now
there.
we can deal with them more
Keep
one-on-one.
Keep low. Clear.
But yeah, this is one of the more
That was at 22.5.
this is one of the more enjoyable tracks I've been to so far. I mean, part of this is that I just simply love the short tracks.
Outside.
But I have
Keep
found
low.
that the issues at this track don't seem to be quite as bad with
Still
the
there.
AI as we've seen at some of the other tracks where their
Clear outside.
behavior can be
That lap
really
time was
weird at times,
22.3.
and it's really distracting from the racing and the enjoyment sometimes. But here doesn't seem to be as big of a deal, which is why this may very quickly
Outside.
become one of my favorite tracks to run the AI
Clear.
for that very reason.
Got one outside.
Of course, my personal favorite would be
Stay on the bottom.
if and when they get around to adding AI to
Keep to
the
the bottom.
Nashville short track. That would be the
Clear to the
ultimate.
top.
In fact, at that point, I might have to just force myself to do anything else but run AI at that track. Same thing with the dirt. Whenever they get to the AI on dirt,
23.
that is going to be a huge, huge deal for me. Because I'm really looking forward to that.
Outside. Stay low. Keep low.
All right, let's take
Clear.
a glance at where we are. Okay, almost to the top
Outside.
20 now.
That lap was at 22.4.
Still there.
So to this
Stay
point,
on
I've
the
basically
bottom.
just been trying to get into some sort of a groove, some sort of a
car in
rhythm.
front of us is
I haven't
now
paid any
even.
attention
Clear.
to my lap times. I've been just simply judging about how we're doing versus the cars around us. And so far, so good.
Outside. You're on the bottom.
Just
Three
trying
wide.
to take what these guys
Got
give
one
me.
outside. Still there. Three
At
wide.
the same
You're on the
time,
bottom.
ouch.
Hold your line. Got one
I
outside.
assume we're
Still
3
there.
wide right now.
Stay on the bottom. Clear to the top. Got one outside. Clear.
All right, clear. That's what I wanted to hear.
You're in the top 20.
You can see the track is starting to take rubber for sure. I did run a short practice session for the AI before I started recording. That was mostly just to give the AI a chance to get all the paint schemes loaded in from Trading Paints, that kind of thing. I like to give it a few minutes to make sure everything's a go before we actually start the racing.
22.6.
But of course, if we're already showing this type of rubber on the track, and we're not even quite
Outside.
20 laps in, or right at 20 laps in,
Stay on the bottom.
then this is going to get real fun after 100
Still
laps.
there.
And then, of course, think about running longer races here,
Clear outside.
300-400 laps.
B18.
Okay, we're now inside the top 20. So far, so good.
The gap to
And again, I'm pretty
Suarez.
happy with how the
Ahead is
AI
now
are
0.4.
driving. Speed is one thing, their behaviors are certainly another.
Keep digging.
Now you notice this track is pretty
That was
bumpy,
at 22.4.
even on the straights, and sometimes especially on the straights. So that's going to make corner exit, late exit, a big issue later on in the run. I started to see that in the testing I was doing.
Stay low.
We're going to have to start pedaling
17th
the
place.
car off the
Clear
corner
outside.
later on in the run, and I am 100% here for that.
Outside. Clear outside. Got one outside.
All right, I'm starting to notice some of the guys we're racing against, like the 4 car there.
B16.
Would have expected him to be a little further up in
Still
the
there.
field.
Clear outside. Got one outside.
Would have expected him
Clear.
to be certainly inside the top 10.
Outside. Clear. Got one outside. Keep to the bottom. Still there. Clear outside.
Of course, also keep in mind, I did not do a qualifying session for these guys. So that's why you're going to see a bit of randomness here, and you'll have a few guys
15th
Got one
place.
outside.
like us coming through the field, other guys
Still there.
starting farther forward that'll be fading
Keep to the
back.
bottom. Clear to the top. Got one outside. Clear outside.
Okay, Brian. The next car is Byron, 14th. Your lap time was at
All right, I like it.
22.7.
Next car is Byron, 14th, which means we made it to the top 15. So at this point, we're only 25 laps into this race. And we've been able to work our way up through the field pretty quickly, I would say. And we really haven't taken any chances. We've been 3 wide a few times, but it really wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, really bumpy there on the stretch.
Got one
The
outside.
front stretch there.
Clear.
Here on the back stretch, also some nice bumps for you, but they don't seem to be as
Got one
extreme
outside.
as the front stretch.
Keep low. Stay on the bottom.
All right, so the 24 is running
Clear
pretty
outside.
good. I'm trying to keep
Outside.
track of our speed relative to the other
Stay on the
cars, just
bottom.
to see that while we might still be passing cars,
Stay on the bottom.
we're definitely not blowing by them at this point.
Stay low. Clear outside.
You know, at the very beginning, at the back of the field, we were obviously quite a bit faster than those guys, and we could work by them pretty quickly. But here, not so much.
13th. Your lap time was
Oh, look
22.
out. Get that one car and make the save there. We got that rear end hung out just a little bit.
Keep digging. Got one
Watch
inside.
out.
Clear
The 24
inside.
was coming inside there.
Outside. Still there. Keep low. Clear
We might
outside.
not be able to get by the one
That was
car.
Outside.
23.0.
As you can see that
Keep to the
we've gotten
bottom.
by the 24, but he hasn't gone anywhere.
Stay on the bottom.
The car in front of us is Bush.
Keep to
So
the
this
bottom.
might turn out to be just about perfect
Clear.
as far as the AI
Got one
skill level
outside.
to allow us to get around
Clear
the
to
top
stop.
10, but not necessarily deep into the top 10.
B12.
Car's handling fine. Certainly not perfect,
Got one outside.
but I don't have any big complaints
Stay
here.
low.
You'd always like to go faster, of course,
Keep low. Clear outside.
but that's more on the driver than it is the car.
P11. We're quickest right now.
All right, there's the kind of thing I love to hear from the crew chief. He said we're quickest right now, so we're setting the pace right now. And that is very helpful, particularly when I'm testing, to see just how I am versus the AI. Because obviously we're not in the lead
Currently
right
setting
now.
the pace.
But when he says things like that, like we're setting the pace, that lets me know where we are on speed relative to the fastest drivers.
The gap in front is now 0.7.
That car is not a lead lap car. Outside.
All right, so we're
Stay
starting
low.
to get into some lap traffic. Probably won't get into a lot of it
Still there. Clear
at any
outside.
given time, because by this point in the run, these guys are going to be fairly spread out. So I don't anticipate running up on several guys at one time.
You've just done a 23.0.
All right, so we're still running these guys down.
Got one outside.
Not quickly, but we're getting there.
Keep
And
low.
we've got plenty of time left to go in this race, so
Still there. Stay low. Clear to the top.
this track is just so fun. At some point, we're probably going to have to get up into that second groove, but I've just gotten so used to the fact that the AI will give you the bottom, particularly on entry, that's where, oh, look out, that's where I spend most of my
Top
time
10.
You've
running.
just done a 23.0.
So we've lost somewhere around close to 1.5 seconds now over the actual fastest lap. All right, these guys
Got
are
one outside.
duking it
That
out
was a
right here.
23.2.
Stay on the bottom.
Of course, we've made it to the top 10 now.
Stay low.
So we got the 2 car to our outside. I see the 5 car up
Keep to the
there.
bottom.
48 right
Clear
immediately in
outside.
front of us. Can't see who else is up there as far as lead lap cars. But now we get an opportunity to see how these guys deal with the lap traffic. How well do they get through these guys?
Outside.
And of course, at the same time, how well can I get through them?
Keep to the bottom.
But so far, they're not getting through them any worse than I am.
Clear.
Yeah, this is quickly becoming my favorite track to run
Outside.
with the AI.
Clear to the top. Got one outside. Stay on the bottom. Keep low. Clear.
E8, we're setting the pace.
Outside. 3 wide. You're on the bottom. Got one
All right,
outside.
I thought
Still
about
there.
driving that in there a little bit
Stay
deeper
low.
to try to get underneath the 78 car. I decided against it. I'll probably do it here, though.
Outside. You're on the
Yeah, because
bottom.
he got
3
out of
wide.
it pretty quick,
Hold
pretty
your
early.
line.
All right, we're still 3
Hold your line.
wide, so I'm trying to give these
Outside.
guys a
Still
little
there.
room, as much as I can anyway.
Keep low.
7th position.
Clear to the top.
Oh yeah, we're definitely starting to feel the loss of grip on corner exit. Definitely. All right, let's get up into that second. See if we can't diamond these corners a little bit. All right, so who is in front of us? So, okay, that's Christopher Bell running in the top 10. I like it. It's the first time we've been in clear track in quite some time. So now I'm going to have to figure out how to drive this car again.
Okay, Brian, you're reeling Bell in. The gap is now 0.7.
All right, excellent. I like to hear that we're reeling him in because, as I've mentioned before, in the bottom right-hand corner, of course, we have the relative screen up. That's your live timing and scoring, but I don't pay it any attention during the race. During a race like this, 100 laps, I might glance at it a couple of times, just if I'm curious about where the leader is or where I am in relation to the guys in front of me, but that's about it. I generally like to depend on the crew chief to tell me how we're doing lap time wise and how we're doing with regards to the guys in front and behind us.
Got one outside. Stay on the
Also,
bottom.
I'm very happy we haven't had any cautions yet.
Still there.
Some of the tracks make it very hard to get a race in without
Behind is now 0.2.
a lot of cautions. That has not been the case here.
That car is not a lead lap car.
B6. Your last lap time was at 23.1.
Because getting a lot of cautions is harder for me because it means I have to restart the race because I don't want recordings with a bunch of cautions in them and a bunch of wrecks in them. We're here for green flag racing, not riding around under caution.
Gaining on this car. The gap is 0.7. We're quickest at the moment.
All right, there we go. We heard it again. Quickest at the moment.
Outside.
All right, here in just a moment, I need to take a second and glance
to the
see where
bottom.
we are.
Clear outside.
'Cause I don't even know what position we're in right now. I've
Okay,
just
we're
been
halfway
trying
to
to
the finish.
pass everybody
That car is a
that
lap
we can
down.
pass.
Half distance. Fuel looks good.
All right, half distance. That tells me what lap we're on.
Inside. Keep high. Clear
All right,
inside.
how much room is he
Got
going
one
to give me
inside.
here? Trying to lap
Stay
me.
right there. Still there.
All right, he gave us plenty.
Clear.
I like it.
That lap time was 23.8.
Okay, so we're just outside the top 5. I finally got a chance to look and see what
P6.
position we were in. Oh, and of course, just as I do that, he tells me. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff I need from the crew chief. That's the kind of information that would enable me to really run without any of these screens up to tell me timing and scoring or any of that. And just focus on driving. It'll just keep me abreast of where we are
Got one
as far as
outside.
the laps, where we are
Clear
as far
outside.
as lap times, and how we're doing versus the guys around us. I'm good with that.
Got one outside. Keep to the
We'll try to
bottom.
pin Denny Hamlin behind this lap car here.
Stay on the bottom. Clear outside.
All right, so that will put us into the top 5, but now I'm also trying to pay attention to my mirror to see,
You're
okay,
finished.
are
Good job.
we pulling away from the guys we're passing now, or like in the case of Denny Hamlin, do we only get by him because of the lap traffic? And you can definitely see this track is rubbering up quite a bit. All right, I see Joey Logano in front of us. I'm going to assume for a
The
moment
gap behind is now 0.9.
that he is for position. Can't imagine he's going to be a lap car that we're trying to get around. And maybe the 8 car
That
as
car
well.
is a lap down.
Again, we'll just have to see when we get to
Okay,
him.
Brian, we're gaining on the car in front. The gap's now 0.9.
See the 18 car up there? Okay, good. We're making some progress. That's for sure.
Outside.
Currently setting the pace. That lap time was
Stay low.
23.2. P5.
Stay on the bottom.
Once again, I heard him say we're setting the pace.
Still there.
Okay, so that means
Clear.
our pace has not dropped off compared to the leader. We're actually a little bit faster than him. Not sure by how much,
That
but at least it tells us
23.4.
that we are not dropping off the pace. Also, if I look behind us, I notice that Denny Hamlin is not running us back down.
Got one outside. Keep low. Clear.
We're setting the pace.
Outside.
There we go. We're setting the pace.
Keep low. Clear.
You can hear me having to play with that throttle coming off the corner there. Love that.
Outside.
Hopefully that doesn't come back to haunt us.
Keep to the bottom. Stay on the bottom. Stay on the bottom.
We're quickest right
Clear
now.
outside.
Alright, I believe that puts us up into 4th position, which means that Kyle Busch must be in 3rd.
That car is a lap down. You're in 4th. Outside.
There we go. We're in 4th.
Stay low.
Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with the CrewChief add-on,
Stay
you
low.
can use voice commands. I am not right now, so you can use voice commands to ask it a whole bunch of
That car
stuff.
is a lap down.
And certainly increase its functionality beyond what I'm using it for right now. Oh, look out.
That last lap was at
Got one outside.
3.7.
Stay low.
But that's something I may look into in the future, but
Stay
for right
low.
now, I'm good with the information he's given me.
Clear to the top.
That was at 23.5. P4.
You can hear those rear tires struggling for grip as we get to late exit and even onto the straightaway with the bumps and everything. This is when the car gets to be a lot of fun to drive for me. Because if I just put the throttle down on exit and just hold it there, then I'm going to have my hands full.
Outside. Keep to the bottom. Keep low.
Like right there, I can feel the
Clear outside.
right rear
Got
lose
one
grip a
outside.
little bit.
Quickest at the moment. Your last lap time was
Keep
at
low.
23.4.
Stay low. Stay on the bottom. Clear to the top.
All right, there we go. We are clear for the moment of Kyle Busch.
That car is a lap down. You're in 3rd.
P3. That lap
Got
time
one
was
outside.
23.3.
Stay low. Stay on the bottom. Keep low. Clear to the top.
All right, the next question is, who is in front of us? Who's in the lead? All that stuff. That's what I want to know.
The gap to Elliott ahead is now 0.9. Your lap time was at 23.2.
There you go. Elliott is right in front of us. All right, so we're going to get to second place, the second place car with about 30 laps to go.
We're quickest right now.
All right, we're quickest right now. That's what I love to hear. Not exactly what I was expecting to hear, given the AI strength we're using, but look at the lap traffic in front of us right now. Okay, there's a lot going on here. My only hope is that these guys will get it sorted out, at least somewhat, before we get there. Could have pressed the issue right there with Elliott a little bit. But again, we got 30 laps to go.
Outside.
There's really no need to press the
Stay on
issue
the bottom.
a whole lot right now.
Keep low. Clear outside. Got one outside. Still there. Clear to the top.
Alright, looks like the 19 up here.
Got one outside.
Yep, there he is, right there. He is.
Stay on the bottom.
He's in a mess. And now I have joined him in this mess of lap traffic.
Keep low. Clear to the top.
Alright, I don't like where we are right
You're
now.
in second.
This
Outside.
33. Oh my goodness. He was way out of
Clear
the gas
outside.
there. And hard on the brakes on corner entry.
Outside. Clear to the top.
Alright, I like this a lot better.
Outside.
Alright, 19 jumped out of line there, and rather than pressing the issue, I let him go. I let him out because I feel his pain there. He's trying to get out of this hornet's nest just like I am.
That lap was at 23.9.
And now we got another mess. These guys running side by side.
Outside. 3 wide. You're on the bottom.
Ooh, 3 wide.
That
Okay.
car is not a lead lap car. Hold your line. Got one outside. Still there.
I really need that 14 to get back in line.
The gap to
If at all
Elliott
possible.
behind is increasing.
low.
It's now 0.8. Your lap time
Keep low.
was
To the
3.7.
And I'm not
bottom.
even talking about for position.
Clear to the top.
I'm not worried about where the 19 is right now. I'm more concerned
Outside.
with
3 wide. You're on the bottom.
that. Being 3
Hold
wide
your
on
line.
the bottom, especially with 2 lap cars on the outside of me.
Hold your line. Outside. Still there. Outside.
You've
Still
just
there.
done
Clear to the top.
23.9.
You're on the bottom. 3 wide. Hold your line.
Now, of course, in real life, you would
Outside.
really
Still
hope
there.
that this 14 would move out of the way.
Stay low.
But for right now, it's making for
Keep to the
some
bottom.
great racing at the front of the field. Because he is really creating quite the log jam.
Keep low. Clear outside. That car is not a lead lap car. Got one
You're
outside.
right. It
You're
is
in
not a
third.
lead lap car, but
Last
boy,
lap
is it
was
in
at
the way.
23.8.
He is putting up a heck of a
Clear
fight.
to the top.
For a little bit there, you would confuse him for Ryan Newman. Okay, so we are in the lead. Somehow, some way, we have made it to the lead from the back in about
That
75
car is a
laps.
lap down.
So the question
Lap
is,
time
can
was
we run away?
23.3.
That car is not a lead lap car.
Does our car hang in there, or do I end up spinning this thing out because the right rear tire is gone?
Outside.
So at this point, I'm not
Clear.
even using full throttle for very long on the straightaway. For the most part, right here, I go full throttle because we were in clean
Outside.
traffic then, or clean track.
Stay low.
Very little traffic, but now once we get back into traffic, some
Clear
more,
outside.
I'll be pedaling it
That
even
car
more.
is a lap down.
We're setting the pace. That lap was at 23.2.
So if you look at the live timing and scoring, you'll see that there's nothing but lap traffic around us right now for about a second and a half behind us. And that means that second place is at least a second and a half back. It appears to be still struggling heavily with lap traffic.
Got one outside.
All right, so this is the 43, my favorite
low.
paint scheme of the entire car set.
Still there. 20 to go to stripe. Clear to the top.
And we are lapping up to the 20th position, which seems about right,
Increased
actually,
to 2.6.
on a long green flag run. Maybe a few more cars than you might expect, but certainly not too crazy.
That car is a lap
So
down.
we've got 20 laps to go. So now the question becomes about our tires and AI tires. How far are we going to lap up into the field? Do our tires hang in there so that we can keep the lead?
Outside. Keep to
And
the
I
bottom.
really have no idea, because of course I don't have
Clear
any real-time
outside.
access
That car
to
is a lap
our tire
down.
data.
We're setting the pace.
So I have no idea how our tires are doing. Just floating it through the corner.
We're currently setting the pace. You've just done a 23.1.
All right, so the fall off has really sort of plateaued now. We're no longer losing a lot of lap time as the tires continue to wear. So you get that first
push behind is now 5.5 seconds.
It's usually something like 6 to 8, maybe 10 laps on new tires where you can really feel that you've got new tires on. You got the grip. But then once it falls off, it has a certain amount of fall off, and then it pretty much flattens out from there.
23.3.
Where the tires continue to wear, but your lap times really don't continue to trail off very much. You could hear it right there when I finally gassed it up on corner exit and got to full throttle. You could hear the tires spinning as we hit the bumps.
You've just
got one outside.
23.3.
Stay low. Clear to the top.
All right, speaking of Ryan Newman earlier,
Outside.
when we were trying to get past
Stay on the bottom.
Austin Cindric, I believe is who that was.
Clear outside.
So actually Ryan Newman was pretty easy to get past.
That car is a lap down.
Of course,
Lap time
also
was
keep in mind,
23.5.
with the rating system, Austin Cindric is a very aggressive driver in my car set. I've got him pretty aggressive, so it makes sense that he would really be fighting hard.
Still there.
Whereas some of the guys who are not quite as aggressive, they'd be more apt to give us room and not fight as
car is a lap
hard
down.
for the same space. Daniel Suarez, the 99 car, immediately in front of us. You see he's running 17th right now. I have been increasing his ratings here lately because that team is coming along and doing quite nice for itself. Very happy to see a new team doing well.
Stay low.
Of course, they did
That
great
car is a lap down.
on the Bristol Dirt.
Clear.
But overall, they are doing very well for themselves. So I've been increasing his speed as well. And we're back to the 4 car. So he really hasn't moved anywhere because this is about where we found him previously, if
got one outside.
I remember correctly.
Keep to the bottom.
We got a mess in front of us here.
Keep to the bottom. Clear outside. Outside. You're on the bottom, 3 wide.
Ooh,
that
look
car
out.
is a lap down. Hold your
Threw
line.
that one in there a little too hard.
That car is not a lead lap car. Clear, clear.
That was a
Got one outside. That car is not a lead lap car. Stay on the bottom. That car is a lap down. Stay low. You're in the middle, 3 wide, clear to the top. Still there.
Ooh, I did not want to hear that I was in the middle of 3 wide, but I was really hoping that we could get down into the corner
That car is not a lead
before
lap
the other
car.
two.
Stay high.
Basically a game of chicken.
The gap to Bush behind is now 7.1
Well, thankfully,
seconds.
that all worked out. Because for a moment, it wasn't looking too good for us. All right, we're inside of 10 laps to go now.
Outside. Stay on the bottom.
Now you
Clear.
can see just how dark even the straightaways are with these bumps.
We're quickest at the moment.
All right, we are quickest at the moment, so even with traffic, we're doing quite well. All right, so where are we as far as lapping cars? Let me take a look here. So we are up to, all right, so we've lapped the top 15, or up to the top 15, I should say.
That car is not a lead lap car.
Ride the roller coaster down the front straightaway. Bubba Wallace having a very nice run in 14th position. Not bad at all.
5 to go.
Again, you can just hear the car as we go over the bumps on the straightaway. Just hear the engine. All right, last 5 laps here. So we are right down to it. I kind of want to lap as many cars as we can now.
Bush behind is now 8.1 seconds.
Ooh, 8.1 seconds. So second place at this point apparently is Kurt Busch. Or maybe it's Kyle Busch. I can't remember. I know Kyle Busch was up there. I can't remember where Kurt Busch was in the running order.
We're currently setting the pace.
But he is over 8 seconds behind. We'll just assume it's Kyle.
Got one outside. That car is not a lead lap car. Stay low.
But suffice it to say that the AI drop-off
Clear
is
outside.
more than my drop-off in the tire
2
grip.
to go.
Come on, Brian. 2 laps left. You're P1. We're quickest at the moment. Last lap time was at 23.2.
Crew Chief
One more
really
lap
trying to
to
spur
win.
us on there. Coming to the white flag.
Got one outside.
Stay
That car is a
focused.
lap
We're setting
down.
the pace.
Stay low. Still there.
All right, you can see the 8 car is really, he's not giving us any
Keep to the bottom. Clear.
space there. He was really fighting hard, but again, he's one of the more aggressive drivers. All right, there we have it. Coming off the turn for the final
What a
time.
fantastic drive.
You won. You are the man.
All right, we'll take it. All right, so these guys immediately in front of us are going to finish up their final lap, but we made it happen. I wasn't real sure that was going to be the case today, not with the AI difficulty that we were using. So as we bring everything to a stop, thank you guys so much for joining me. And this has definitely been
35 miles per hour.
This has definitely been my favorite track so far with the AI. Just their behavior overall has been a lot of fun. So thank you guys so much for joining me, and stay tuned for more iRacing content here at NASCAR Gaming.